ever had fried squash blossom? You should try it. But it sounds like a carb nightmare, right? Here's the secret ingredient. Pork panko. What is pork panko? You ever had pork rinds? If you squash up the pork rinds into a bunch of crumbs, that's about what pork panko is. Tastes good, looks great, easy, low carb. Here's what we did.
Hi, this is Janice from PrevMed. I just got back from the farmer's market and bought some squash blossoms, and I'm trying to make a heart-healthy, gluten-free squash blossom, and this one is called Panko Crusted Baked Squash Blossoms with Garden Herb Ricotta. Because I don't go to the grocery store, I do pickup every 2 weeks, and I have been doing that since March 3rd. My grocery day is not until Tuesday, so I'm using something I already had at home, which was a Philadelphia cream cheese with garden dip. So this recipe called for Garden Herb Ricotta mix, but I'm using this prepackaged Philadelphia cream cheese mix because my grocery day during COVID is not up. And as I said, I don't go into the grocery, I order online and do a pickup. These are baked, and I've lined a baking pan with parchment paper, and then I've sprayed some Pam original spray on it. And that's where they're going to be baked after I finish this. Then I came along and I cut 1.5 inches into the squash blossom, rolled it back, and clipped out the stamen. I have to portion up this cream cheese. I'm allowed to have 4 blossoms because Ford's trying another recipe with the other 4 blossoms, so we're splitting them up. So now I'm going to add this garden cream cheese to the middle. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist it, the flour at the end, to hold it in. I guess it's just, I don't know how you twist the flour, but maybe like that. Don't be afraid to get your hands in the egg and in the panko to get better coverage. And you can see how that looks better than this first one. It may look better than any of them. So I'm gonna go back, and now I'm putting it on the pan. Looks kind of interesting. Well, we will see. I am going to try one of these. I'm gonna add a little basil leaf and a little bit of parsley. I feel like picking it up like a popsicle stick, but it's flimsy. Hot, but good.
Is it good?
Mm-hmm.
You saw that little basil leaf that Janice added at the end of that? I think it was basil. That came from her hydroponic herb garden that she has sitting on the counter in the kitchen. She wanted to show you that.
This is my little herb garden, which is coming at the end of all the, I had dill, basil, and parsley. Another endeavor during COVID-19 to grow something fresh. We don't have a lawn to create an outdoor garden, so I created this little tabletop. So as you can see, these are nearing the end, although the basil is still doing quite well. And I'm going to add a little bit of basil and parsley to these, just to add some fresh kind of spices. A lot of my parsley is drying up, but here's a little green one that I can add. And I'm about to get new hydroponic seeds. So this is hydroponic, it's just sitting in water. The dirt is in this, you can see all the roots that have grown. Probably the basil's better, they have different lengths. Oh my gosh, those are thick roots in that basil. They have different lengths of time that they live. This one is 21 to 28 days for the parsley. The dill was the shortest lived. I think it was about 14 days. And this basil, it sprouts in 12 days. It doesn't say how long it lasts, but that is definitely the most hardy one.
You have plant food you put in the water, right?
Yeah, so a red light comes on. It has a sensor every 2 weeks to remind me to add distilled water, which I've created with this Brita filter. And I filled up to this line, but then I also add a capful of this plant food. Or it looks a little messy where it's spilled.
Mm-hmm.
And that's every 2 weeks. And I feel like I've had this for at least 2 months. This recipe, which I printed off the internet, came from kellysfoodtoglow.com. Again, it was called Panko Crusted Baked Squash Blossoms with Garden Herb Ricotta, which, as you know, I substituted out for cream cheese.
Continue to get great feedback regarding the webinars, and here's why. You know, on the internet, when you hear a webinar, you expect for somebody to try to sell you something. We're not doing that. We're trying to tell you something. People are coming in with their labs from Quest, inflammation panel, OGTT, insulin survey response, and then they're finding out, do I have inflammation? Do I have insulin resistance? And where does that fit in terms of other folks? We're getting ready to start one for CIMT as well. So again, people are really excited about finding out their own status. Looking forward to seeing you there. Thanks.